What's up, creepers? Welcome to Phin and Bryn Spoops.
I'm Bryn.
And I'm Phin.
And that's
Jason.
That's Jason.
Except.
Welcome to day 19.
Yeah.
Day 19. And today we're going to be covering...
Friday the 13th, part 2.
In what year?
1981.
Same year
Dad was born.
And the same year.
Halloween 2 came out. Also, I just realized this says Friday the 13th, even though it's like Friday the 13th, part 3.
It doesn't matter. It's part of the franchise. The franchise is called Friday the 13th. There you go.
But there's a thing with that. He doesn't look like this yet.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a weird bag of shit.
It got a 6.1 out of 10 on IMDb. I think that's high. I think that's pretty high.
Yeah, it was that good. Kind of bored.
Yeah.
I'll give it 2 skulls.
I'll give it 2 skulls as well. There you go. I am a big Jason fan, but this movie, he really hasn't grown into Jason yet.
This Jason.
Yeah.
He's kind of just...
We don't have the mask. He's still wearing the bag over his head, and they still...
So you said he's kind of more like this in the third one?
The next few.
Because I noticed he wasn't in the same outfit when he reached for stuff. He didn't have his, like...
No, yeah,
gloves.
They still hadn't got quite a handle on who Jason Voorhees was. I think Steve Miner, when he wrote Friday the 13th, I think that it was just going to be Mrs. Voorhees. And I don't think he was thinking ahead for a series. So that forethought was not there.
So
we have
a character.
We do have Adrienne King, who played Alice in the first one. She comes back for the beginning of this one.
He use an axe eventually? I'm like, his signature weapon is the
machete,
but he has an axe.
Yeah, he uses whatever he can get. Sleeping bags.
Told me about that.
So, Jason Voorhees.
How did I get water on my forehead while I was drinking water?
Yeah, it's very iconic. He's very iconic for somebody who doesn't speak,
Yes, Ghostface talks so much, and so does
It's because Wes Craven liked to hear his own words.
Oh.
That's what it is. Wes Craven really enjoyed Wes Craven, as you can see, because in last night, actually, when we were reviewing Scream, I forgot to remind you the fact that Tatum is wearing a number 10 jersey. It's super tight around her, and she's walking around in that number 10 jersey. That is what Johnny Depp was wearing when he died in Nightmare on Elm Street. So Wes Craven likes to reference himself. Whatever. He's dead now, so it's okay, everybody. Everybody move on.
This seems like something someone would do. Reference to other movies.
He loves it. I consider Wes Craven the Stan Lee of horror. So anyways, we're going to talk a little bit about Friday the 13th part 2. We give it 2 skulls.
2 skulls.
2 skulls. And the beginning has Adrienne King, who played Alice. And I have met Adrienne King, and I can't find my picture with her. She's very lovely, and I like her so much. I looked through all of my pictures, and I cannot find it. And it's got to be somewhere.
Dish ties and everything. We're going to put it right here.
But you know what? You have witnessed it. It's real.
I have witnessed it?
Yeah, it's me and another girl, and she's standing between us, Alice. And I'm like, look, that's the girl from Friday the 13th. And I was very proud.
And were you showing me that?
Anyways, yes, I stalk horror movie people at conventions.
And Buffy people.
And Buffy people.
Of course. Buffy count as horror?
Sort of. Yeah.
It's vampire.
Vampire. Just takes people.
I guess it's horror. It's weird saying Buffy is horror.
Buffy is hilarious. Okay.
Recommend watching Buffy. Collection in the other room.
Yes, we have lots of Buffy stuff. All right, so the movie opens with Alice dreaming about the ending because they were very concerned you weren't going to remember the ending of Friday the 13th. And she's dreaming about the ending of Friday the 13th where she finds all of the bodies after Mrs. Voorhees has murdered everybody.
And where's that later? Where the body goes and hangs down like Bob.
That was in the...
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Bob. Bob hangs down and he falls through the door. Yeah, someone did that.
This is for Classic Movie Monday, folks, and this was not remembered as fondly. Like I was like, oh, I love this movie so much, and then I put it in, and I was like, I'm misremembering how much I loved this movie.
You like the third ones and after better?
Yeah, I guess I like it when he's more Jason.
Yeah, that seems about right.
But I've also seen Friday the 13th, the original, a million times too. So
yeah, it's better than the second one.
It's 2 months after Alice survives what happened to her in Friday the 13th. And so she's trying to be on her own from her mother, and she's home alone. And you can see somebody is stalking outside in her neighborhood. She opens up her window, I think. Where does the cat come from?
The window was open, and she heard something, and then the cat just, like, jumps.
1980s, man. What did I tell you? Can't trust cats.
Halloween 2, there was a cat scare, too.
Also, yeah, Jonesy scared people on Alien, yeah. So, yeah. Cats are jump scares in horror movies. She calms herself down after she gets scared by her cat, and she opens up her refrigerator. What's in her refrigerator, Phin?
Oh, there's a head.
Whose head?
Whose head?
Yeah.
Whose head is it again?
Pamela Voorhees. Oh, she cut off her head.
I forgot that it was her head. I don't know. It wasn't that
Who
good.
killed? She killed her.
I don't know.
So, yeah. He was like, hey, you killed my mom.
How did the head get there?
Rude.
Yeah,
so,
probably watching from the forest.
She turns around, and he's there. And he drives an ice pick through her temple. See? He used another thing. He is an opportunist, an ice pick.
Oh. Where did he get an ice pick?
It was sitting on the counter.
Who just has an ice pick on the counter?
She had the ice pick when she went to go check the window. You missed it. You were not paying attention. He's an opportunistic killer. He will kill you with whatever he can get his hands on. Because, later on, remember Pitchfork?
Tree.
So we go through the beginning credits, which were very dramatic, by the way. For some reason, Steve Miner went super
There's Friday 13. Part 2. Had to be an explosion, too. Which made no sense.
So they're going to be opening a camp that is a little bit farther away from Camp Crystal Lake, and
well, it's across the lake.
Yeah, it's across the lake, so it's not
far.
It's not Camp Crystal Lake. So
they do find it. So
yes, they do find the sign. But hold on, let's go in order. The two counselors that are new, they meet who?
They meet Mr. Man, the man, the Harbinger.
There you go. Crazy Ralph, the Harbinger.
You are doomed.
Their truck gets towed, but it's
This is quality content.
Their truck gets towed, and they're running after their truck. And they're like, "That's my truck!" But it turns out it was just all a prank from Ted. Ted, the counselor, has pranked them. Not very funny.
Ted. I'm not even pointing at his name.
Rude. So they get in the car, they get in the truck, and they head down to camp. And there's a branch in the middle of the road, and they find.
They say it looks like someone dragged it.
Yeah, it looks like somebody dragged it there. They find.
What's her face finds a sign, Camp Crystal Lake.
And then what do you hear?
I would have kept that.
Yes. So
seriously, I would have kept the Camp Crystal Lake because there's like the stories. It's like a cool like creepypasta-ish thing. So I would have kept that. It wouldn't matter because.
So we get the camp counselor meet and greet by Paul. He's in charge of the camp.
Hey,
everybody is. Yeah, there's camp meet and greet. Ginny, his co-advisor, she shows up late in her ragtop convertible. And her ragtop VW Bug is what it is. And he gives her a bunch of crap about it, and then he goes and he warns them all about bears. Don't keep food in your cabins. Don't do this. Don't do that. And then he's like, ladies, make sure you don't wear perfume and make sure you keep clean during your menstrual period. Because, we all just want to free bleed out in the woods there, Paul. What are you thinking? So, they killed some campfire share stories about Jason to get it out of their system. And
Boo.
Ted jump scares them, and everybody's all, oh, there's no such thing as Jason. Oh. So the kids have a party before camp starts. They're all having, drinks and wanting to hook up. And there's way more hooking up in this one than usual. Way more. And what's the rules? What's rule number 1?
Don't bang.
Don't bang, people. Don't bang.
And everybody, like, after the party is like, let's bang. It's literally what everyone's doing. They're like,
yeah,
let's bang.
Yes.
It's like the whole thing. Like,
My
that's a
12-year-old
thing
is right. Yes.
Everybody wants to bang.
And what was the second rule?
Second rule. Oh, yeah, no drinking or drugs.
And everybody was?
Drinking.
Everybody was drinking and smoking weed.
Everybody.
Nobody listens to Randy.
Oh, I'll be right back. Did everyone say they'd be right back?
Yeah. So Ginny,
Of course
so the kids party and Ginny goes to get ready for bed, and Jason kills Crazy Ralph, our harbinger.
Oh no.
Our threshold guardian. Oh, Crazy Ralph, who are you going to tell that's doomed next? Sorry.
Doomed.
There's this adorable pupper, and he confronts Jason. Jason looks down at him.
Woof, 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 woof.
What's the pupper's name? Muffin. Terry. Terry is a fan favorite amongst the Friday the 13th community. Terry is looking for Muffin. Terry, you know what? I'm gonna say it. Terry's got a nice ass. I'm just gonna put that right out there. She's the girl that I
even had zoom in.
They zoomed right in on her ass. She's also the one that gets naked for this movie. So you know what? Kudos to Terry. You took one for the team. Okay,
so weird, you know?
Terry can't find Muffin after Muffin has been confronted by Jason. We don't know what happened to Muffin. We don't know what happened to Muffin. We will put a picture of Muffin right here. Yes.
Okay, sure.
Yep. We're going to put a picture because Muffin is a final girl.
Yeah.
Sandra and Sandra and Jeff, they want to go check out Camp Blood, also known as
Camp Crystal Lake.
Camp Crystal Lake. Jason follows them, and they think they find
Isn't it Camp Crystal Lake, also known as Camp Blood?
Yeah, well, they don't call it Camp Blood. Its official name is Camp Crystal Lake.
Yeah.
The camp counselors call it Camp Blood. It's
AKA Camp Blood because that's its nickname, so you'd say that next.
Why is he directing? He should be a lawyer. All right, so they find a dead dog in the woods. We don't know what it was. It was an animal that was mauled. We think that it's Muffin. You're supposed to think it's Muffin.
No, Muffin.
A cop catches them trespassing at Camp Crystal Lake, and he takes them back to their camp, and he wants Paul to punish them. I'm not sure if he wanted Paul to make them drop their drawers and take a smack across the butt with a
wooden spoon.
I don't know, a paddle or what, but he was very unhappy. And I think Paul said something like, give them extra dessert. Whatever. Paul was being a smartass, the cop was being a smartass, and nobody likes each other. We're done. And it doesn't really matter because the cop sees somebody run across the road on his way out, and he gives chase because he thinks it's another one of those darn kids. Yes, it's time. So he finds Jason's shack, his cabin in the woods.
Wow, it's a cabin in the woods again.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he finds something that shocks him, but the camera doesn't show us what it is. And he gets what?
Oh, we know what it is now.
Cops get what?
I just realized what it is.
In horror movies. Yes, I know what it is too. But we're not going to say. So cops get what in horror movies? The hammer.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, you notice that the hammer in Halloween 2. It's the same year. Yes.
Front and the back.
Body count 3.
God, this is so uncomfortable because it's like, no, it's broken.
I'm very concerned about Terry. She's starting to miss longer and longer pieces of her shirts. Her shirts are going up. So we almost got underboob going on.
It's just like inch.
Terry, I'd like to donate some shirt to you. I love you. We all love you. You're Terry, the fan favorite. We need to find you some bigger shirts, honey.
It's so weird.
Most of the kids go to town to party because there are There's way too many counselors this year for Jason to take care of himself. Way too many. Right, Phin? There's like 20 counselors. There's no way.
Well,
So,
is that normal? That's normal.
No.
Really?
Mm-mm. Yeah, that's a normal amount, yeah.
Yeah, well,
So most of the kids, they go to town to go party because it's their last night to go party. And there's a guy in a wheelchair named Mark.
Mark.
See, they're trying to do representation, but Mark is still white in an all-white cast.
Seriously, I can't think of a single person except for
There's like one counselor
that
he doesn't
left.
even have a line.
He left. Everyone else is white.
Yes, we've got
everybody.
Yes, we've got ability representation, but that's it because everybody's white in this movie.
Everybody.
And he decides to stay because Vicky makes eyes at Mark in the wheelchair. She's like, "What's up?" So he decides to stay too. Terry goes looking for Muffin. Muffin. She goes looking for her. And then she suddenly decides, you know what? Screw that dog. I'm going to go skinny dipping.
There's our Bob Flash.
Yep, we get our Bob Flash, and she takes down, like, she strips it all. Terry, taking one for the team. So, Terry goes swimming out in the lake. For no reason. Men directed this movie, so, and wrote. So, while she's skinny dipping, they cut over to Sandra and Jeff, and they're going to go have sex. And Mark and Vicky are playing video games, and he says, "What are we playing for?" And she says, "How about position?" Not kidding. Everybody wants to bang in this movie.
First rule.
So
everybody's banging, everyone's drunk.
So Scott, another guy in this, he's at the hots for Terry, who's off skinny dipping. He takes her clothes, and she's really mad. She's like, "It's not funny. You give me back my clothes, Scott." She goes, and he gives her back her clothes, but he steps into a snare trap. She doesn't even put it on.
No, she does. Well, when she's putting it on later, it looks like it. I'm like, oh, it's going down, and then it just stops. I'm like, oh yeah. She like has more, like 70% of her shirt is missing.
So Scott steps into a snare trap, and he's like dangling from the trees.
No.
And she's like, "It serves you right." And she's like, "I'm going to go get a knife to help you." And leaves him dangling in the trees. So she goes looking for a knife in her cabin, and Jason slits his throat with a machete. And Phin had no idea which side of a machete was actually sharp. And he thought that they had done it the wrong way.
Hey, look. The sharp parts on your shirt.
It's on both sides. I was telling you.
But I'm thinking, like, they slash and look. Like, look at my hand. Look, like, shoom, 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 shoom.
No.
It's just
Yeah. So,
my life is a lie.
So, stop.
I'm trying to slit your throat.
Can you stop hitting me in the face with Jason? Okay? You're going to get lipstick on him. That is a memorabilia piece. Please don't get lipstick on him.
I'm trying to slit your throat.
So,
Jason.
So Scott's dead because Terry finds his body. That's body count 4. And I'm not sure what happens to Terry at this point. Does she run?
Pretty sure she dies.
Terry, no.
Pretty sure she goes scream and something kills her / Jason.
So they cut back to the town where everybody's...
Nobody cares what happens to her.
You done? So they cut back.
Interrupted me.
So they cut back to the bar where everybody's partying, and Ginny, our final girl, is discussing things with Paul and Ted. And they're talking about Jason like he was real and how he would be if he was real. And she uses the R word because she's a child psychologist, people. I was very upset. So she takes it very seriously, like a child, from her child psychology perspective about what he would be like. And this goes on for a little while because they're going to be using this later in the film. Paul and Ted remind her that Jason is only a legend, and then cut back to the cabin where Vicky is still playing video games with wheelchair-bound Mark, and she wants to know how he ended up in the wheelchair and if everything still works. If his legs don't work, does his other leg work? She wants to make sure. He says he can handle his own. So Vicky's like, all right, let's go. Let's do this. Jeff and Sandra hook up. Vicky gets ready to go hook up with Mark. The lights are out in her and Terry's cabin. Jason watches her change like the perv he is. And Vicky goes to get something out of her car. It starts to rain, and Mark wheels out to look for her because she's taken a really long time, and he thought he was gonna, get it on with her. And he gets a machete in the face, and his wheelchair rolls down like the back of these stairs. And there's like this weird freeze frame, like they didn't know how to end that stunt. Like they didn't know how to end that stunt because he obviously probably had to land on a pad, but they didn't know how to not show the pad or something. But they did this weird freeze frame, and it was awkward. So now we've got body count 5.
I would have finished that. I know how.
Sandra and Jeff are laying in bed after they've just had sex, and they get a prop spear driven through both of them, so they're skewered together like a shish kebab. And so that's body count 7. Vicky goes looking for them, and she finds Jason in their bed, and he's got a bag over his head, and he stabs her with a knife. So now we got body count 8 because it all goes to hell quick, people. It goes to hell quick.
But he can't catch up to...
Paul and Ginny come back early, and all the lights are off, and they find the bloody sheets, and they're like, this is not funny. This is not funny. And I'm still wondering where's Terry, because, I know she's dead, but I still don't know what happened to her, and I'm very concerned.
I'm pretty sure something happened to her.
I looked on the wiki, and they said they assumed she was beaten to death. Because her body is in the cabin later.
Huh. Strange. Very strange.
So, Jason pops out of, where was he?
No.
Where's Jason pops out?
No.
Oh, he's in the room, right? She was like, there's somebody in here. There's fucking somebody in here, Paul. That's exactly how she says
Wait,
it.
are there 3 of them at this point?
Ginny and Paul. No. Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
Ted. What happened to Ted?
He got... Remember she was watching Ted? And then Mr. Jason starts killing Ted. She's like freaking out and then calling
I
him.
missed Ted. That's body count 9. I was not even paying attention by this point. I was actually so
Yeah, he was
bored.
murdering someone. Otherwise, she would have been dead.
So Paul gets overpowered by Jason, and Jason chases Ginny with a pitchfork. He stabs her through a convertible bug top, and she gets out of the car, and there's chase and run. Ginny hides under a bed in one of the cabins, and then there's a rat that's like coming near her, and she pees all over the floor because she's totally freaked
I thought it was
out.
the rat.
Rats don't pee that much.
It was her.
Jason almost gets her again with a pitchfork. She goes after him with a chainsaw. Yeah, Leatherface.
And he's like,
go.
frick. He's just like, whoa.
And then she goes WWE and breaks a chair over him. And she
Didn't kill him with the...
no. And she
It
runs.
could have been the end of the series.
She runs into the woods, and she finds Jason's cabin. And we do end up finding out what the cops saw before he died. And what is it, Phin? It's the shrine. And what's on the shrine?
What's her name?
What's his last name?
I know. Ooh, it's Voorhees, but...
Pamela.
I can't get Pamela.
You can just say Mrs. Voorhees.
Oh, okay. Mrs. Voorhees' head is on a table. And her clothes are there.
And Terry's body's there, and the cops' bodies are there. Yes. Well, not her clothes, but her sweater. Her mommy sweater. So...
You don't have a mommy sweater.
So now we're at body count 10. And because we see Terry's body there.
She goes and puts on the sweater.
So Ginny, thinking that she's like the best child psychologist ever, she puts on Mrs. Voorhees' sweater and she starts talking to him like, Jason, Mother is not pleased with you. Jason.
No, she says Mother's pleased.
Oh, yes. Yeah, she's like,
whatever.
Jason, you've done very good. You can stop now. She's like trying to...
And she's about to murder him and then she moves to the side.
She's trying to psychologically head shrink him. And she moves to the side a little bit, and he sees Mommy's head still on the table. And he realizes he's being tricked. And Jason's like, ting! Rude. So, Paul...
Rude, though. That needs to be a gift. Just rude.
Paul saves her because he wasn't dead. Hey, Paul. Ginny chops into Jason with a machete, and he passes out. And they pull his mask off. And he's all gross. Ugh. They don't show it. They don't show it yet.
Blech.
They just look like, ugh, when they pull the mask off. And Paul helps Ginny out, and he has to carry her back. Her leg is all sliced up from Jason, and they're sitting on the bed. Yeah. And they're sitting on the bed in a cabin, and they hear a noise, and she holds the pitchfork out, and Finn notes that Paul looks like Fred from Scooby-Doo. And
he could totally play Fred.
There's a noise outside, and they open the door, and it's my favorite final girl in the whole movie. It's Muffin. Muffin's alive.
And I knew it because she's pointing at the door, but she's leaning into the window, obviously.
Jason jumps through the window, and he's got like this really gross head and long hair on this one side, and it doesn't look like Jason at all. And
maybe he does.
We don't know what happens. He jumps at the window, and then she wakes up, and she's being loaded onto an ambulance. And we have to assume that Paul's dead. So
I assume that's fake, just like what happened in the lake.
Yeah, I guess. But we have to assume Paul's dead because he wasn't with her. And he's actually assumed dead in the wiki. So that makes body count 11. It's one short of Michael's.
One short?
Yep.
Wait, I thought it was body count 10.
Well, I forgot Ted. She wakes up being... She wakes up being loaded into an ambulance, and it's assumed by the Friday the 13th community that Paul died.
No, Paul.
So this movie has a lot of bad acting. It falls on a lot of tropes that become classic, that where Jamie Kennedy's Randy gets his rules from. They are classic. So you know what?
Classic rules.
If you want to watch a classic, check it out.
Don't
Otherwise,
bang,
skip
don't
it. Go
drink.
over to 3.
Don't say I'll be right.
Vote. Make sure you vote. Like and subscribe.
Surprise.
Like and subscribe, I said.
Sorry, you said surprise.
Well, you were interrupting me. So like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.